So I rarely make videos on relationships or videos giving relationship advice, mainly because I don't feel as if I'm qualified, and I don't feel as if I could have a lot to offer people, and I just don't feel as if I have answers to a lot of the questions people ask me, and I'm not going to attempt to answer something that I don't have an answer for. That being said, this video, though, is not focusing directly on relationships, rather it's focusing on why you, yes, you, that person watching right now, you or me, tolerate abuse in relationships. This is something that I think is really overlooked on a lot of different topics. You know, people talk about why you shouldn't tolerate abuse, how you're better than that, and why you shouldn't let someone treat you like shit. But rarely do we actually sit back and we look at why we do it. Why do we let someone treat us like shit? Why do we let someone stick a finger in our face and treat us like we're worthless scum? Why do we do it? That is what I want to explore today on why we tolerate abusive relationships. The first thing that we need to realize is that when we tolerate abusive relationships, whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, or even a fiance or marriage, is that it's actually more about us than it is about that other person who is abusing us. And personally, when I see a friend of mine, whether it be online or a real friend, in an abusive relationship, we are standing from the outside witnessing what is happening. And for me, I get genuinely upset when I see someone that I care about or a friend that I like being treated and abused by some other guy or girl. But the first reason why we tolerate abusive relationships is the number one, and this correlates with all of the other reasons, but they're separate. The first reason is we have low self-esteem. We go into a relationship, we have them as a partner, as a relationship, and we let them abuse us because we have low self-esteem. But the real problem is that we don't think highly enough about ourselves, and that we attract these people who confirm our self-esteem by treating us badly. Another reason why we tolerate abusive relationships is because we think, the people being abused, we think we can change this person. And boy, did I go through that experience in 2008 and 2009. We take all of the responsibility, all of the burdens that this person has, and we put them upon ourselves, and we try to change them. Instead of thinking, hey, my boyfriend, my girlfriend needs to change because they're abusive and they treat me like shit, we think that we need to change, and that we need to change them and make them into a better person. But the thing is that the abuser needs to change on their own merit, not by you. In fact, it's very unlikely that they will change by you. We think that if we could better ourselves, it would make them treat us better. Another reason why we tolerate abusive relationships is because you and me blame ourselves. Yes, we blame ourselves. Even though the abuser is the one who's calling you names, hitting you, or maybe emotionally or verbally abusing you, we blame ourselves in the situation because our self-esteem has become so destroyed, so diminished in our life, that we make excuses for the other person and say that it's our fault. For example, he wouldn't hit me if I didn't make him mad. This is a very, very common response to women who are being abused in a relationship physically by a male. They're being hit, they're being beaten, and their justification for allowing this type of behavior to continue is that if I didn't make him mad, he wouldn't hit me. They're blaming themselves for something that the abuser needs to take responsibility for, and that it's the abuser's fault for what he's doing, not the victim. And this applies to males and females. By allowing this type of behavior to continue, our self-esteem will become so low that we think everything that happens within that relationship is our fault. And it's not. The next reason why we tolerate abusive relationships is that we don't think we can do any better. And boy, did I experience this one, because my ex back in 2008, 2009 was very, very manipulative. Now, at the time, I didn't see it because I was isolating my family away from me and I was ignoring all my friends, and I was so involved with her that I didn't see what she was doing and how she was controlling me. I was in that abusive relationship for almost 2 years because I didn't think I could get anyone better than her. And she did the best job of telling me that I couldn't find someone better than her. That I was the one for her. And she ingrained this actually into my mind because as a gullible 16-year-old male who's never had a girlfriend and who was homeschooled his whole life, who was sheltered as fuck, Having a girl that was interested in was mesmerizing. It was a big thing for me, and she actually got me to the point where I thought I could not find any girl better than her. That I could not find a girl who would actually treat me with respect, or treat me kind, or even be nice to me. And this all goes back to the reason of we having low self-esteem, that we don't deserve, think that we deserve something better than what we have. You do not think you're good enough, and that you do not deserve to be happy, and you do. And last but not least, we think that we need to improve ourselves, when in actuality, it's the abuser that needs to improve and change, not us. We somehow shoulder all of the burden, and we think that it's us that actually needs to change, not the said abuser. We believe that if we could be a better partner, a better person, a better husband or wife, we would not cause them to do what they do towards us. This is actually how we internalize our abuse and blame it on ourselves rather than the people who are abusing us. And the final reason as to why we tolerate abusive relationships is because we isolate ourselves. And this was another one that I went through personally with my ex, who never wanted me to she didn't want me to be around my parents, didn't want me to associate with my parents, and because I was stupid and naive and young, I isolated myself from my parents, my friends, and my family. I did this because that's what she wanted, but the reason I did this, and probably many others, is because we have family who loves and cares for us, and they see that you're being abused, and they say, Daniel, you need to get out of this relationship. And boy, did my parents do this. They said to me she was not good for me, she said she was treating me like shit, and I was still mentally just denying it, saying, no, 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 no. We isolate ourselves and cut those people out of our lives, our family, friends, and close friends, because we don't want to, because we want to justify our reason for staying in that abusive relationship when our friends, family, close friends are telling you, no, you shouldn't be in this relationship. And yet we try to justify it by isolating them out of our lives so we don't have to hear what they have to say. Very, very damaging. It makes us feel uncomfortable to be around people who want something better for us, but we don't think that we deserve it. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow reptiles. Those are some of the many reasons, and I'm sure there are hundreds of more, but these are the core reasons as to why we tolerate abuse in relationships, and it's something that we should not do. And if we do this, the reason I'm making this video is not only for education, but so that maybe if you're in an abusive relationship right now, you can look at these things that I've just talked about and say to yourself, hey, I'm actually doing this. I'm doing one of these things. I'm allowing this abuse to continue, and that I need to get out of this relationship, and I need to love myself, and that most of all, I need to get out of this abuse because it's actually going to destroy me more than it's going to lift me up. In fact, being in an abusive relationship like this can lead people to do stupid things such as trying to commit suicide and taking your own life for stupid reasons. Yes, I do believe people can take their life for stupid reasons, this being one of the many different reasons. However, for those of you who don't know, I do support suicide and assisted suicide and many other forms of suicide depending on your circumstances. But that's not the point of this video. The point is, don't tolerate abuse in relationships. If you see this in yourself, stop it, end the relationship, and stop letting them abuse you because you're worth more than that. Thank you guys for watching.